Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bible. That's right, we're back with a new story this time. Well, it's all the Bible, obviously. So it's the same book, but a different part of the book. This time we're not dealing with Jesus. I've been requested to share with you the showdown at Mount Carmel. But before we do that, I'll split it over to two parts, like all good trilogies. So we'll start with 1 Kings 17, which gives the background information. I'll introduce the showdown, and then we'll get to the showdown next chapter. So we'll have 2 weeks for 1 Kings 17 and 18. Continue to suggest things and I'll happily do them. So let's get to it. The background of this particular passage is the reigning king in Israel at the time is King Ahab. What I might do is I might actually start the story off at chapter 16 verse 29 and continue from there, because it gives the same information I'm about to tell you anyway. So let's continue. Let's start there, shall we? King Asa of Judah had been on the throne 38 years when Ahab became the king of Israel. And Ahab reigned for 22 years. But he was even more wicked than his father Omri. He was worse than any other king of Israel. And as though this were not enough, he married Jezebel, daughter of King Ethbaal of the Sidonians, and then began worshipping Baal. First he built a temple and made an altar for Baal in Samaria. Then he made other idols and did more to anger the God of Israel than any of the other kings of Israel before him. It was during his reign that Hiel, a man from Bethel, rebuilt Jericho. When he laid the foundations, his oldest son, Aribim, died. And when he finally completed it by setting up the gates, his youngest son, Shebab, died. This was the Lord's curse upon Jericho, as declared by Joshua, the son of Nun. That's actually relevant to something earlier in the book. But okay, chapter 17. Then Elijah, prophet from Tishbe in Gilead, told King Ahab, "As surely as the Lord God of Israel lives, the God who I worship and serve, there won't be any dew or rain for several years until I say the word." Then the Lord said to Elijah, "Go to the east and hide by the Cherith brook at a place east of where it enters the Jordan River. Drink from the brook and eat what the ravens bring to you, for I have commanded them to feed you." So he did as the Lord had told him to, and camped beside the brook. The ravens brought him bread and meat each morning and evening, and he drank from the brook. But after a while the brook dried up, for there was no rainfall anywhere in the land. Then the Lord said to him, "Go and live in the village of Zarephath, near the city of Sidon. There is a widow there who will feed you. I have given her my instructions." So he went to Zarephath. As he arrived at the city, he saw a widow gathering sticks, and he asked her for a cup of water. As she was going to get it, he called to her, "Bring me a bite of bread to eat as well." But she said, "I swear by the Lord your God that I haven't a single piece of bread in the house, and I have only a handful of flour left, and a little cooking oil in the bottom of the jar. I was just gathering a few sticks to cook this last meal, and then my son and I must die of starvation." But Elijah said to her, "Don't be afraid. Go ahead and cook that last meal, but bake me a small little loaf of bread first, and afterwards there will still be enough food for you and your son. For the Lord God of Israel says that there will always be plenty of flour and oil left in your containers, until the time when the Lord sends rain, and the crops grow again." So she did as Elijah said, and she and Elijah and her son continued to eat from her supply of oil and flour as long as it was needed, for no matter how much they used, there was always plenty left in the containers, just as the Lord had promised through Elijah. But one day the woman's son became sick and died. "O man of God," she cried, "what have you done to me? Have you come here to punish my sins by killing my son?" "Give him to me," Elijah replied. And he took the boy's body from her and carried it upstairs to the guest room where he lived, and laid the body on his bed, and then cried out to the Lord, "O Lord my God, why have you killed the son of this widow with whom I am staying?" And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried out to the Lord, "O Lord my God, Please let this child's spirit return to him. And the Lord heard Elijah's prayer, and the spirit of the child returned, and he became alive again. Then Elijah took him downstairs and gave him to his mother. See, he's alive, he beamed. Now I know for sure that you are a prophet, she told him afterwards, and whatever you say is from the Lord. And that concludes John 1 Kings 17, the background to 18, which has been the chapter I've been asked to read out. So I hope that's been interesting. I hope you've been learning the characters, so to speak. When we come back next week, John 18, hope it's interesting for you. God bless, and happy Easter, by the way. Hope it's been a good time, and you're not too fat from all the chocolate. I've got like this huge box that's like taller than a house, somewhat, a bit. Anyway, see you soon. Other videos are getting there. The internet is completely dead at the moment. Who knows what happened? I'm going to ring this ISP now and try and figure it out. But yeah. Anyway, God bless.